bad. There wasn't a jerk, and apart from the harness cutting into my legs, it was quite enjoyable.
Unbelievable.
Woo! Getting down wasn't a problem either. Stu just ordered the team above to lower me to the welcoming committee below.
Been suspended. Well done. So that's it. Bridge swinging is your new hobby.
Oh, you're mad. How many
remember it
times
well.
did you have to do that?
Well, we did it twice on the day, because once I did it with the camera looking over my shoulders. I got my facial reactions, and I was a bit happier that time, because I knew exactly what I was doing. So that's why I was singing.
Oh,
but it was good to do. However, bridge swinging is not something anyone can do. It's a very specialised sport that can only be done by adults. They must all have the proper safety gear, expert advice, and most important, written permission from the owners of the bridge, as I had. Otherwise, I'm afraid it's against the law.
Well, I won't be swinging anywhere in this lot. 500 years ago, if you were born in a wealthy family, you might have lived in a house like this. Panelled walls and glass in the windows and servants to clean and cook for you. And you wore clothes like this. Very nice. If you were born 500 years ago, you'd also be exactly the same age as one of the most famous kings of England, Henry VIII. Here he is in all his glory in this figure from Madame Tussauds. This is how he would have looked when he was about 40, 6 foot tall and getting pretty chubby. He ended up so fat he could hardly walk. Henry was not only a very royal-looking figure, he was a leader, a great sportsman, a scholar, a musician, a dancer. Unfortunately, he was also a tyrant with a terrible temper, who, in his struggle to make England great, could be cruel and unjust, even to his best friends. The first thing you get told about Henry, and the thing everyone remembers, is that he had 6 wives. Not all at the same time, of course. He got rid of them one by one, except for one who died, and one who outlived him. With some of his 6 wives, he was very happy, some of the time, or 1 or 2 he couldn't stand. He kept changing them because he was desperate to make sure his family held onto the English throne, and because by marrying foreign princesses, he wanted greater power for himself and England.
There was trouble in store if you upset King Henry. He began his rule as a pleasant enough person, but as the years went by, he became very impatient. He wasn't slow to condemn people who got in his way, including 2 of his most loyal deputies, Sir Thomas More and Cardinal Wolsey. This portrait of Henry, done during his lifetime, shows what an imposing and even frightening man he was. But he was also a musician. He's supposed to have written this piece of music.
But Henry spent most of his rule playing politics, a sort of difficult game of chess. France and Spain, the 2 most powerful countries, were fierce rivals, and England was seen as just an unimportant little country that other kings didn't worry about. Well, Henry here wanted to change all that. In 1520, he arranged to meet the King of France, Francis I, at a great ceremony. Cannons roared in celebration, and a great city of tents was built for the 2 kings to meet him. They were made of fabulous golden materials, so that the occasion became known as the Field of the Cloth of Gold. It was so impressive, it was described as the 8th wonder of the world. In those days, a bit like now, if you acted rich and grand, people thought you were rich and grand. Henry thought if England acted like an important country, France would be impressed.
And this is the way Henry dressed to impress the King of France. This is the actual suit of armour that Henry wore to meet Francis at the Field of the Cloth of Gold. It's nearly 500 years old, irreplaceable, and it's worth an absolute fortune. It's been lent to Blue Peter by the Royal Armouries at the Tower of London, and we're lucky to have it on the programme by the gracious permission of Her Majesty the Queen. It's a special suit of armour made from fighting on foot in a tournament, a competition between knights. It's called the tonlet suit of armour. Tonlet is the French name for this skirt. Now, it looks very heavy, but every part is jointed. Henry would have had no trouble running in this armour. It was assembled in Greenwich in less than 3 months in 1520. The visor protected the king's face, and beneath it you can see the collar of the Order of the Garter. There are some beautiful patterns, all sketched and carved into the armour right through the skirt, and there are some roses etched onto the skirt. And the rose was the badge of the Tudor ruling family. Going further down, you can see that Henry had a very shapely leg, which apparently he was very proud of. And if I put my foot next to his, you can see that there isn't that much difference there in size. No more than a size 7, I'd say, really.
Which proves you don't need big feet to run a country. As well as tournaments, Henry was also fascinated by ships. He built the first Royal Navy, and this is a scale model of the Mary Rose, the most up-to-date ship of her day. Henry himself was watching on that fateful day in 1545 when the Mary Rose, just after she left harbour, sank on her very first voyage. In the early years of his rule, Henry was a devout Roman Catholic. He was very well liked by the head of the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, who even gave Henry a special title, Defender of the Faith, a title that British monarchs still hold to this day.
Henry's friendship with the Pope and his Catholicism did not last. When Henry and his first wife, Queen Catherine of Aragon, failed to have a son to succeed to the throne, Henry decided the wife would have to go. He wanted to divorce her. Catherine was not at all keen to be treated that way, and this is how the makers of the 6 Wives of Henry VIII visualised that meeting when Henry gave her the bad news.
Now that we know the truth, we must separate. You can choose some place away from court and live there in retirement. You can go anywhere you like and have anything you want, of course, anything. Where would you like to go? Catherine? Catherine, don't cry! Don't!
Not happy, was she? The Pope refused to agree to the divorce, so he had to go as well. Henry turned to the new Protestant faith, which broke away from the Catholic Church. It was a massive step for Henry to take, but he virtually declared war on the Church of Rome and on its representatives in England, the monasteries. This type of behaviour was habit-forming, and in his desperate hunt for an heir, Henry managed to get through another 5 wives.
All these items are a fascinating way of seeing into the life and times of Henry VIII. It's like having a telescope to look right into the past, like looking at one of Patrick's stars. They're all on show at a huge exhibition about his life, which is about to start at Greenwich, Henry's birthplace. The exhibition at the National Maritime Museum runs until the end of August. But if you can't get to Greenwich, there are lots of other events happening all over the place to mark the 500th anniversary of Henry's birth.
This week at Barnard Castle in County Durham, you can take part in archery and Tudor dancing in the castle grounds.
Goodwood Castle in Hereford and Worcester has a reenactment of castle life in 1491 on the 27th of May. Could be a bit smelly, that one. And at Headington Castle in Essex, there's a Tudor pageant on the 20th and the 21st of July.
Hooray, Henry! Is the title of a huge celebration where you can meet Henry VIII and his courtiers at Pendennis Castle in Cornwall on August the 3rd. After that, the festivities will be moving on from there to St Maur's Castle in Cornwall and Deal and Walmer Castles in Kent later in August. But that's just a small selection of all the events, so keep your eyes open. Henry VIII could be turning up near you this year.
Just a quick reminder that the fun run is on Sunday. If you've got a fun run pack, don't forget to read the instructions and fill in the registration form, which you must send to the address which is written at the bottom of the page. If you haven't sent off the form, you haven't registered, so make sure you do. Why don't you come along and watch if you're not running? If you are, fill in the form and have a great run on Sunday.
We'll be running.
We certainly will. Well, we'll be back on Thursday with the results of Animals Matter competition.
And a very special idea for a make starring Ed the Duck and this sponge ball. So
we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And I think what John might have been about to say is that there might be some more puppy training. That's all on Blue Peter on Thursday. But now it's time for the video race. Yes, we've gone very top of the pops all of a sudden. Here are the videos that you can vote for. The first one